Let's take a look at this easy strongest argument question. So we're given a question here, or a statement, and we are asked which of the following is the strongest argument relating to that statement. So we are told, we are asked, should junk food advertisements be banned during children's television programs? And we are asked which of the following is the strongest argument in favour of banning these advertisements. When you read the questions, look really carefully for whether we are talking in favour or against the statement. Now, when you look at these arguments, you want to look for things like relevance, whether the argument is supported, or whether the argument is kind of vague and non-specific. Let's take a look at each of these. So the first one, junk food is available in most supermarkets. Now, this is not supported. It's also not particularly relevant because the question here is about advertisements during children's television programs, not necessarily about where they get the junk food from. So this is not a strong argument. B, some children eat vegetables regularly. This is perhaps irrelevant. Again, it's not relating to the advertisements. It's also quite a vague statement. Some children. We're not exactly talking about the larger group there. C, advertising can strongly influence children's eating habits and increase the risk of obesity. This is a strong argument. This is a supported argument with evidence such as increasing the risk of obesity, and it is relevant, directly referring to the advertisements. So C is our correct answer there. Let's just talk about D. Many adults also enjoy eating junk food. This again is perhaps irrelevant. It's not linking to the advertisements. It's also quite vague, and it's also unsupported. Let's take a look at this medium level strongest argument question. So in this question, you need to assess whether the options are the strongest argument in relation to the question or the statement. Let's take a look at the question. Should people be charged a fee for visiting a doctor if the visit is for a non-urgent issue? This is a really common question that comes up, particularly relating to the NHS. Which of the following is the strongest argument in favour of charging a fee for non-urgent doctor visits? Look really carefully at the question, because here we're talking in favour of charging a fee. There's different ways that question could be phrased. It could be phrased as in favour of not charging a fee or against charging a fee. Make sure you read that carefully. Let's take a look at our options. A, many people visit doctors for minor problems that could be managed at home. Now, immediately, this is a really strong argument. We're talking about many people, so we're talking about the majority. We're not talking about some small subgroup. We are also providing a sort of counterpoint, the fact that the minor problem could be managed at home. We're providing some sort of resolution to the argument. So A is our strongest. Let's talk about B, C, and D though. So B, doctors often have long working hours. This is relatively irrelevant to the question. It's not really linking to the charging a fee part. C, some people live far away from their nearest clinic. Again, irrelevant, not really relating to charging a fee. And D, medical schools are expensive for students to attend. Again, well, perhaps relevant here, maybe raising more money for the health service and medical schools as a whole or something, but not really relevant to the idea of non-urgent issues. So B, C, and D are weak arguments because they're not relevant. Let's take a look at this hard strongest argument question. So the question says, should social media platforms be legally required to verify the identity of all users? These sorts of questions, something like this comes up time and time again. And we are looking for which of the following is the strongest argument in favour of this proposal. You need to look carefully for that because it might say which is the strongest argument against this proposal, perhaps. Let's take a look. So A, many people enjoy using social media to share photos and connect with friends. This is neither in favour or against the proposal, and it's also relatively irrelevant because we're not talking about the verification of the identity. B, identity verification could reduce anonymous abuse, harassment, and the spread of misinformation. This is a good, strong argument. It is specific and relevant to the question, and it is backed up and supported. So B is our correct answer here. Let's talk about C and D though. C, some users prefer to remain anonymous online for personal reasons. This is a kind of relatively vague statement. It's talking about a small subgroup, and it's also not in favor of verifying the identity. This would be against verifying the identity. And D, some social media platforms already require users to create a username and a password. Again, not really relevant to the idea of the verifying the identity. And also, this is a statement against that question anyway, or against the proposal. So there we go.